for psychoanalytics. In today's video, we will be presenting information about our experiment on peer pressure and conformity. First, we will discuss the literature we reviewed and explain our hypothesis. Then we will demonstrate the exact methods we used for each condition and show you our results. Finally, we will discuss the limitations of our design and what we would do differently if given the opportunity.
Conformity often changes our decisions and judgments to conform to narrative behaviors. Reinforcement learning signal predicts social conformity study used fMRI to show how conformity processing is based on the same mechanisms of the principles of reinforcement learning. Reinforcement learning, or RL, by definition, is how machine learning is concerned with how software agents take actions to maximize cumulative reward. This study used fMRI to show how group conflict over opinion triggers specific neural responses. They also found that facial attractiveness plays a role of the individual's judgment of and how they adjust their behavior to fall in line with group opinion. This demonstrates that when the individual experiences greater internal conflict, they are more likely to conform. Although neural mechanisms are still unclear, the evidence from the study shows social norms evoke conformity.
In our first condition, we had a single spokesperson interview our participants using an image that showed contrasting puzzle pieces in two different shades of gray. In the second condition, we used the same spokesperson to interview the participants using the same image that showed contrasting puzzle pieces in two different shades of gray. Only this time, we added a group of Confederates in order to apply some peer pressure.
For this experiment, we exclusively recruited student participants from NMSU campus. There were 22 total interviewed participants for the sample size, excluding one for visual impairment. The experiment design was a two-group design. Chi-square analysis shows the individual result of 71% positive response and 29% negative responses. Group results of 69% positive response and 31% negative response. People performed identically across conditions. The data analysis shows no significance in the results. Our p-value was 0.9006. Even though this experiment did not produce significant results, it did follow the same pattern of the reviewed study and predicted social norms do evoke conformity.
As far as the limitations for our study, we found that time and circumstance were our biggest extraneous variables. We had to use convenience sampling because of the scope of the assignment and the location, which rendered a very small sample size. We also had no variation in our group dynamics. We used the same spokesperson for each of the conditions, and there was no change in circumstance. We weren't able to change locations, and again, being limited with our time limited our study and our outcomes. How we would do it differently? In a perfect world, we would be able to have a larger sample size, use random sampling techniques, choose a different location to perform these interviews, and we would vary the spokesperson in each of the conditions, and we would vary the confederates. In conclusion, this experiment helped to demonstrate that college students are conditioned toward following social norms in a college campus environment, and therefore they're more likely to conform under a variety of circumstances. A person's ability to conform helps them to reserve cognitive resources, as well as reduce internal conflicts that arise from unresolved dissonance. I hope that helped you understand a little more about how peer pressure affects conformity. We thank you for your time and attention. Bye!